Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. This, for you guys, is another movie review. Today we're tackling the next, Looney Tunes chapter of basketball chapter. We're going to be talking about, of course, Space Jam 2, or what it's called around the world, Space Jam, : A New Legacy. Now, I've seen the original Space Jam back in my old high school, where we had a little film club thing after school, and we take turns. We go, okay, we're gonna watch that, we're gonna watch this, and then one kid was like, oh, we're gonna watch Space Jam, and I never saw it, so I was like, okay, whatever, we'll watch it. And I was, I don't know, 17, 18, something like that, and I really didn't like it that much. And I know, I was born in '98, so technically I'm a '90s baby, infant, fetus, but basically, a lot of people with this film, looking at New Legacy, they look at it and they go, oh, the nostalgia, oh my god, it's so nostalgic, nothing can beat the first one. And look, if you like the first one, that's fine, but I like the Looney Tunes aspects. I think Michael Jordan was okay, but the whole plot was really bad in my opinion. Of course, the CGI was shite. It was like 94 or whatever, it didn't look good because it was old. It wasn't a horrible film, but it definitely, compared to this film, night and day. I mean, freaking night and day. Now, before I went into watching this, I heard, me, I don't trust anyone else but myself. I listen, but I don't trust, because I figure, if you're going to go watch a movie or play a game or read a book or whatever, do it for yourself. Don't listen to a guy say, oh, Space Jam Legacy, 2 out of 10. Worst movie ever, which someone gave it that. And, I was like, man, this movie must effing blow. And then I came out of it like, oh, that's pretty freaking good. So again, this goes with anything, but don't be a computer. Please trust yourself. Don't don't say, oh, well, this guy said it was a 0, so I'm gonna say it's a 0. You gotta go for yourself. And I went for myself. I saw the film and I freaking loved it. Is it a great movie? Kind of. It's definitely not perfect, but it definitely is not 2 out of 10, 0 out of 10 worst movie of all time. Space Jam 1 is cheesy, it's hokey, it's silly, it's stupid, and it's loony. But that's the point. And that is the exact same thing here, except this one is more competently made, competently well shot, competently directed, written, and of course it has a really good plot as well. The first one, I can't remember a single thing from the plot, apart from some guys lose their powers to play basketball, and who gives a fudge, But this one, Michael, I've heard that this movie is a blatant cash grab. That's my first thing, that I went into this film kind of trying to debunk. And it isn't. I think a lot of people think that this film is a blatant cash grab because it's made by WB, Warner Brothers, and when they're not marketing Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, they go and make these films. And basically with that, I was going through it like, okay, this is going to be, a fun kind of throwback retro feel to the first one, right? Because the first Space Jam was literally made because of a Nike shoe commercial. So if you think that one wasn't propaganda, you're freaking insane. But basically, the first one was, hey, let's promote Michael Jordan, Looney Tunes, synergy, right? And then this one, they go, okay, well, it's going to be a WB, but they actually made the WB thing into the plot, right? So, like when you watch the Lego Movie or Ready Player One, you're like, oh, I know that, you're pointing at things in the background. That's this film, but it's not, a lot of people took it as, oh, WB, they got Pennywise, they got Batman, they got Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Rick and Morty, all this other stuff. And they're going, oh, they're shoving it in the background, they're shoving it in these scenes, and they're really making it a blatant cash grab. Go buy more merchandise from WB. Look, that's not this film. Maybe, because let's be honest, every movie of all effing time is made to make money. But if you make a movie specifically because you want money, it's a cash grab. This film, they wanted to make money, right? Because it's a movie. People see it. They spend money for it. 2, they actually wanted to make something that's good, kind of like a throwback to the original Space Jam, and they wanted to beef it up, right? A new legacy with LeBron James. Now, if you don't like LeBron, if you like LeBron, I don't care. Me personally, I just know he plays basketball. I don't follow basketball too much. I do like sports. I'm not super duper into it like franchises, but I do watch it occasionally. I don't have anything against basketball or football. I think they're fun, but I don't follow LeBron James and go, you're my god. I don't do that. It's just he throws the thing in a hoop. And it's a big deal. But in this, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, Michael Jordan wasn't that good of an actor, right? Because he plays basketball. Why is he gonna be good at acting? But LeBron James is actually not too bad. And another thing I've heard is that besides being a blatant cash grab, again, which it isn't, they just really want you to spot things, and it's a really cool Easter egg referencing thing. they go, oh, LeBron James is very wooden, right? He's very kind of like the prequel trilogy. And again, I love the Star Wars prequel trilogy. I love it. But that they do have a shite ton of problems. And one of the problems with the prequels, not so much 3, but especially 1 and 2, is that there's a lot of acting that's just very dry and wooden, no emotion. And that is maybe the point, but that's how it came out. This movie, a lot of people said, oh, man, LeBron is just so wooden. You know, he goes, Dom, no, stop. I must play basketball. He doesn't do that. He's not a freaking robot, all right? Is he a great actor? No. But does he do a good job for being a basketball player? Yes. In fact, there were practically no scenes where I was cringing like, God, that was horrible. There's a few scenes where he's like, falling through time and going into the Toon World and all that he's screaming. Some of his screaming's a bit forced and kind of weird sounding because, he's not actually falling to his death. But you do need to kind of, act it. And again, he's not that bad. I think especially, it's even harder knowing that he has to act him on, the Toons, right? Bugs Bunny, Lola, Porky Pig, Daffy, and they're all just not there because they're animated. There's maybe a guy in a green suit or a tennis ball, but it's not actually Bugs Bunny. So the fact that he has to do that, pretty freaking good. I think all the actors were good. The little kid, his son, I don't know if that's his real son or his real wife. I don't really care, but they did a good job, and I think they, no one in this movie was really bad. Now, Don Cheadle, of course, he plays War Machine in the MCU. He's kind of the big bad guy, right? Rhythm or whatever, like Algorithm. And, the very first thing that, in another review that I watched, that I just happened to tune in for like 5 minutes and I X'd out, they were like, Don Cheadle's an award-winning actor, and the first scene he's in, he's doing a monologue, and it's cheesy. Well, guess what, guys? That's the freaking point. Because Space Jam is supposed to be satirical, stupid, silly, and loony, right? Except, again, this one has an actual good premise and a good plot. But Don Cheadle is the villain. He does a good job. I think that there's a little bit of an undertone of maybe a shift of different tones. I think that, when you're trying to get really serious and really funny and dramatic and action-packed with the basketball game in the end, and then you compare that to the beginning where it's a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, little, 60s Batman camp, stuff like that. It does kind of, he is monologuing, he is doing these things, he's saying a lot, and he's doing a good job. You can tell that he's evil and that he wants power, but it's just the lines that are kind of weird. But again, that's the point. They're trying to make this kind of a nice, silly, crazy, campy throwback to the original. Because let's, take your nostalgia glasses off. That movie's cheesy as fudge. So the fact that they're trying to kind of, rekindle that cheesy energy for a little bit, I think is pretty cool. Of course, the animation was done by WAG, or W-A-G, Warner Animation Group. And, I was watching the trailers and I'm like, damn, this movie looks really friggin' good. Not just good because it's newer compared to the first. It looks good. And the reason why it looks so good is because it's made by WAG or WAG. And they did Scoob, they did Storks, they did all 4 Lego movies. And of course they did this as well, and probably a few other things. But I consider that the 4 Lego movies to be, I think, not only my favorite animated films of all time, but one of the best looking animated films of all time. Like, the bar is so high for those films. And Scoob did good, Storks, they're all good, but this one really did nail that look. When you're in the 2D, and look, there aren't that many movies now that are 2D, they're all 3D. And we got a bit of both, which was really freaking cool. I think the last 2D movie we got was maybe like, SpongeBob Movie 2, something like that. And they did a good job of nailing that 2D animation and 3D animation in a really good way. Of course, also incorporating 2D and 3D with LeBron James and his son, Dominic actually, looking good, not looking weird, because the Space Jam 1, I get it's an old movie, but, when Michael Jordan's doing his thing, you can tell there's a soft gray line, Movies have looked better than Space Jam 1. And it really stands out and looks really bad and lazy. And this film takes that and steps it up above and beyond. It looks fantastic in all aspects. It really looks good. It's a feast for the eyes. And, no matter you're watching 2D, 3D, or anything else, it looks really freaking good. And it all comes together in a great way. But the story really kind of revolves around Dominic, his son, playing these video games, right? He's like, look, I know I'm the son of LeBron James, basketball player, but I like to program video games. And LeBron James is like, F that, you're playing basketball, because I play basketball. It's that kind of mentality, and it's a good lesson for kids and adults, that just because you're really good at something, doesn't mean you need to shove that down other people's throats. Maybe you're really good at basketball, But LeBron James doesn't really know shit about video games. Same thing here. Dominic's really good at video games, but he doesn't really care too much about basketball. It's that same kind of debate and, kind of Lego Ninjago movie-esque sentiment in there where you're kind of looking at it, you're like, okay, well, Dom likes this, LeBron likes this, and LeBron's like, no, I'm the basketball guy, and I'm going to shove this down your throat, And by the end, he kind of has a little character arc, realizes that, maybe this isn't, good. That I should be, they say, let me do me, which is whatever. But, I just took that weird. Dom wants to do what he wants to do. Let me just say that, okay? He wants to follow his own rules, not be forced to do something just because his dad does it, And I think it's a good message, for all ages that, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you need to shove other people to do it, I'm good at making tributes and YouTube videos, but maybe your talent is, I don't know, creating books, writing books, drawing, whatever. And I do think that it's very much a, like I said, almost a marriage of these different ideas coming together, and I do think that the plot is stronger for it. Other than that, there's not too much. I think there's a really neat little side plot of Bugs Bunny trying to get to Toon World, right? And he's like, oh, all the tunes are gone because Don Cheadle or Algae Rhythm, he kind of got, he kind of sucked them up into the game. It's kind of funny that for all the people going, oh, WB made a movie to promote WB, it's a cash grab. If you watch the movie, it quite clearly isn't. Because like I said in the beginning, not only are you picking things out in the background that are cool, but WB is the bad guy of their own movie. Because the algorithm of WB is the algorithm for WB, right? So how can you say that this movie is pro-WB propaganda, right? Shove more of my franchises and properties down your throat, when the main bad guy is the guy who's in charge of WB, computer-wise. You can't. It makes no sense that way. You're contradicting yourself. And I do think that it's not a bad villain. He's not that menacing. It's a basketball movie. But, the best thing about this movie, the best thing I can give, is that not only does it look phenomenal, it's extremely fun and exciting to watch, right? This is just a fun, entertaining movie. You know what I mean? It's not like stupid turn your brain off, like get drunk and you're, it's not like that. It's a competently made movie, right? There's a good story, there's a good lesson to be learned, it's intense, there's funny moments, it looks great, it sounds great. The actors, for the most part, do a really good job for what they're told to and for the story that's provided to them. But it's like the Lego Movie 4 movies, right? Every second in every Lego movie, all 4, there's something going on. There's always something going on in the background, the foreground, whatever, right? And this is kind of like that. It's very much fast-paced, And I like that, because they're going, oh, we're going to go recruit some tunes, and they're going into, like, Mad Max world, and Matrix, and Game of Thrones, and Rick and Morty show up. There's a bunch of different things in there that kind of translate into the WB universe, but they don't just do it like, hey, buy my movie. They don't do that. They make it fun, and they implement the Looney Tunes gang into the real-world movies that we've seen. I haven't seen Mad Max or Matrix or Rick and Morty, but whatever. But I do think that, people that have seen, and I know about them, I'm not stupid, but just haven't watched them. But I think going into that knowing that this is going to be a crazy, loony, silly film, but it's not crazy, loony, silly in a stupid kiddie way, right? This is not a movie for kids. This is not a toddler film where you just take your kid and you go on your phone. This is a movie that kids will enjoy, I think, but it's not made for kids. If anything, it's made for the adults that grew up with the first Space Jam film in the early to mid-90s. But look, if you love the Looney Tunes, if you love classic animation, really funny moments, it's just, the Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky, Luna, what's her name? Lola, you'd enjoy it. If you like basketball and you like to watch sports films with a little bit of a twist, it's a good movie, you know what I mean? I really do enjoy it. I think that as far as negatives, again, LeBron James isn't perfect. There's a few editing moments in the beginning where it's a little bit weird. I think the beginning where they're kind of showing LeBron James' career, I kind of cringed at because I know he's the star, but, I don't see LeBron James as half the world does where he's Jesus Christ reincarnate. He's just a basketball player, that's it, to me. He might be good, but that's it. That's all he does. So in the beginning where they're like, oh my God, LeBron, it's just kind of like, all right, I want to see Bugs Bunny, F that guy. But, upon pondering it, it is a neat little introduction to his character, but, maybe we're a little bit on too long. again, though, that's really it. The beginning's a little bit slow. I think that they are a little bit slow in kind of handling that. There's a lot of quiet talking scenes, which is fine for me, you know, because I'm an adult. But you know, a lot of parents will take their children and go, oh, it's a kids movie, and then it's really not a kids movie because there's swearing and there's violence and there's boring scenes and there's messages, you know. So it really is a movie for all ages, but could be a negative for some. But for me personally, like I said, LeBron James, the beginning is a little weird. It takes a little bit of time to get into the plot, but once we do get into the plot, I think it's pretty good. A lot of people complained about the notorious P.I.G., right? Porky Pig starts rapping. I thought it was funny because Don Cheadle's character, Algie, you know, he's just like, he says something that rhymes, and then he's like, oh no, wait, I didn't mean to do that, and then they just start a rap battle, you know, so it was pretty funny. Do I think this movie deserves a 2 or a 0, or a worst movie ever, shouldn't have been made, blatant cash grab, wooden acting? All 6 of those things are wrong in my opinion. I think this is a flawed film, but it's nowhere near bad, and it's nowhere near perfect. It's just, if you want a fun, entertaining movie with basketball and Looney Tunes, with a good plot, that actually will, you know, you will walk away feeling something. You know, you won't just be like, this is a stupid movie for babies, you know. You'll walk away and you go, okay, that was actually really good, you know what I mean? And I'm over the age of 2, you know. Because, again, it's not for little baby kids, it's for everyone. And I think a lot of people misjudge that. Because, again, animation is not for kids. Animation is suitable for kids. Big difference there. But words to live by. But again, I really did enjoy it. I can't really think of too many negatives. Again, the beginning's a little weird. LeBron isn't perfect, but again, he does the job for this film. You know, maybe a lot of things happen behind the scenes with the voice actors not being credited. Who knows? I don't care. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that, yes, it's flawed, but it's very entertaining and way better than the first one. I don't know. I'm sorry. You're probably going to shoot me in the face after you hear that. But, you know, I don't have the nostalgia. And I think if you do rip away that nostalgia for the first film, I don't think it was that good. This movie was really good. I will be buying it on Blu-ray. And look, I'm not the biggest basketball fan in the world. I'll watch it. I'll tune in. But, you know, I'm not like, you know, following LeBron everywhere he goes. You know, I'm not like that. And if you are, that's fine. I don't do that. But going into that, I was kind of, you know, like, okay, is this going to be good? Because I'm not the biggest sports fan in the world. And it was, you know, it was really enjoyable. So, again, I'm probably going to, from F to an A+, I'll probably give Space Jam: A New Legacy, probably give it an A-. I think it was just shy of being pretty much perfect film. Again, some of the CGI is really good. There's a lot of things to point out in there. But, you know, there's a little bit of editing things, a little bit of cringiness here or there, you know, because, again, basketball stars acting, not the best in the world. But the animation is flawless. The storytelling is great. The action, for what isn't the action, I think that the callbacks, the Easter eggs are really nice. And I enjoyed it for what it was. You know, I really did. I think that a lot of people are kind of nervous to get out on the internet and say that they enjoyed this film. But I'm going to tell you right now, I love Space Jam: A New Legacy. I love The Last Jedi. I love the Lego Ninjago movie. I love Cars 2. I love Kingsman 2. I love Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Right? I'm not scared. I don't give a crap. I like what I like, right? So if you're afraid to kind of just tweet or make a YouTube video, hey, I enjoyed Space Jam 2, don't be, you know. It really is just about opinions, but I do think that the people going, 2, worst movie ever, I don't know, I have a feeling we're watching 2 different movies, because, quite frankly, a lot of love and passion went into this project, and I don't want to, you know, I wanted to get the credit, and again, it's not perfect, but it's not a train wreck, garbage dumpster fire of a movie, you know, it is really well made, and I think if they do make a third, which I think they are, don't do basketball, you know, do something else. But I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, A-, really did quite enjoy it. Again, a little bit of negatives here or there, but nothing too crazy. And tell me in the comments what you thought about Space Jam: A New Legacy. And what do you like, Space Jam 1 or Space Jam 2? Again, I really enjoyed this, and I will be doing, probably tomorrow or the next day, really soon, I'm going to be having some Lego Looney Tune blind bag unboxings. I noticed around my room here, I don't really have any Lego Looney Tunes. But I do have, I think, 3 blind bags, so I'm going to unbox that in a few days for a separate video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this film. Again, I really enjoyed Space Jam: A New Legacy. It really surprised me. You know, I really walked into this film not wanting to see it that much. Because I'm like, okay, you know, LeBron's okay, basketball's alright, Looney Tunes are cool. But I really enjoyed it. You know, I really enjoyed it. And I came out of that going, wow, that was way better than what I thought it was going to be. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't, tell me why. If you do, tell me why. I'd love to hear. And yeah, again, I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.